Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Happy
to
New Year.
Kenya.
I'm glad we get to see
It's
your
Kenya.
faces, Liz and Sheila. I know it's not always the case, especially wherever Sheila's at. Liz, you're in Nairobi, right?
Yeah, in the outskirts of Nairobi.
Okay, so I'm just assuming big city, internet's a little better there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sheila, where are you at?
I went back home. I'm in Kajiado,
Okay. Okay.
just
Jello.
a county outside of Nairobi.
North, south, or east?
Good, good, good. Well, good to see everybody. Missed you all. Did anybody meet the 2 weeks that we were officially not meeting?
John and I did for an hour and a half, and what was absolutely amazing is Wilma Dirksen phoned me while John and I were talking, and her husband was related to John, but she could never figure out how. So I had her on speaker holding her up to the Zoom, and Wilma and John finally got to, as he names different people, etc., she got to figure out how that connection is made. And one of the major things I gained from my time when it was just John and me is that you need to keep your mouth closed when you're breathing. And he says, if you wake up and your mouth is all dry inside, it means you were breathing with your mouth open.
Well,
Was it working for you?
Well, I have definitely at different times as I'm doing different things thought consciously, okay, Martha, close your mouth.
Are you learning to breathe from your diaphragm?
I don't know if I've concentrated on that yet.
well, it's a new year, and I feel like we're in for some big changes for the new year. Just worldwide and humanity wise. And just the message that's in my heart that I feel Father wants to get across to as many who will hear him is to just simply, well, not simply, we need to draw in close, very near and dear to his heart. And we need to do even more deconstruction. So, it's been a big movement to deconstruct from the religious systems. But what I'm recognizing and what I'm sharing in the inner circle that we've started is how much of the world we actually are versus just in the world. And so starting to work on deconstructing that, because that is stealing our love and our joy and our peace, because we are so connected to the world that we're of it instead of just in it. And anyway, there's a steep price on the inner circle, but I need to get it kicked off, and so I'm probably going to drop that significantly in order to get more people in it. It's going to be on the condition that they're going to really help me promote it and share what they're learning from it, and encourage others to join. So it's just becoming more and more prominent in realizing how much we are attached to the world yet. And by detaching, we can definitely find a clearer path to the love, joy, and peace that I believe everybody's looking for. Many people don't realize it. Some people are still in the extreme sports and the adrenaline rush and all the crazy stuff, which I was at one point. But it's shifting from all that and being able to step into the place where we are totally content with who we are and who God created us to be. And we're no longer searching for outside influence to make us happy. And so anyway, that's what I see happening in 2024 is there's going to be a lot more people who are going to be going deeper, but deeper, not just deconstructing religious systems, but deconstructing worldly systems as well. So Susan, good to see you.
Hi,
To
hello,
make it.
everyone.
It looks cold there.
It is, yep. And I'm sorry, I'm tired as well. So I was just actually asleep. So I think when you wake up, sometimes you can feel cold as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
Gil?
Well, what are some other thoughts any of you have?
Gil?
Yeah.
As you were speaking, when you were saying that so many Christians are into the world system still, the thing, and then you added it at the end, but right away I said, yeah, in the world, but also in religion, even in this
Big time.
movement, and of course we're getting clarity of what religion is and where we have been, but I still myself, and I see it in many of us. There's so much religion. You're like, oh God, I'm still so religious. No, that's the religion. It's like we're still in it. And again, this is not a condemnation thing or anything. It's just that we're becoming more conscientious
Yeah.
on where we have been. But then we need to even not only be conscientious about it, if you are being conscientious about it and waking up to it, but you want to change. You don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay there.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have that desire in you, and I call it, I've been talking to the Lord about this because I've been seeing it on me and in many of us in our communities. And it's like, we're still here.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's like, oh my God, how do we get it? And again, it's not condemnation. It's just, realizing it. And so the other thought has come with that is, how committed are you to change? Because some people are in the word was committed. God really highlighted the word commitment. So some people, some of us feel like, oh, we're just going along, but it's like, how committed are you? How much do you want to change in the transformation? I don't know. Just questions. I have questions for myself and for the community. And just because I'm part of the community, I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and this is very much what's going on. Just like you're saying, in the world, in religion, but I feel that it's about desiring to change, the commitment deep, as you were saying. You want to go deep, but you want to stay here in the superficial,
Well, I think even that superficial place is actually somewhat of a miserable place. And I say that in the sense that so many people who don't want to go deep, they're stuck in this place where they're unfulfilled, they're unhappy, and they don't know why. And it's because they're not willing to go deep and look at the hard stuff. And I may share it or I may not, but it's like, and I say this in the nicest of ways, but Father kicked my butt this morning. He really kicked my butt. I had a conversation with him and I was arguing with him, and of course he won, but it was just, he was revealing some stuff and I'm like, oh geez, I can't believe I'm still stuck in all that. Anyway, Mary Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, very, very interesting topic for me, this of what is coming this year, what can we expect? And I've just been hearing and seeing and experiencing the word fire a lot. And it just immediately brings me back to the fact that God's love is a fire. It's purifying because it's pure. So I think we still have to completely deconstruct from the idea that we can do something. I can decide to be more committed. I can decide to be more this. And rather just come to the place where we say, I want to be more committed. Yeah. Will you work that in me? I want to go deeper. Will you work that in me? I've had an interesting thing. I'm physically, exercise-wise, I'm an extremely lazy person. I'm just not an exercise person. Give me mental stuff. Give me stuff that I can think about, philosophize about. Yes, I love that. But my body needs exercise. My spirit needs the physical exercise. I need to to be whole body, soul, and spirit. So I've been praying about that, not very consciously, but just saying to the Lord, my body needs exercise, and I really just don't want to do it. And yesterday afternoon, I just got this bee in my bonnet that I wanted to go for a walk. And I went for a walk, and I was actually absolutely surprised to the distance that I managed to walk. And I woke up this morning, and the first thing that came into my mind is, oh, I want to go for a walk. So I went for another walk. And I'm just saying, Lord, you had better keep this up in me, because my resolves are not going to do it. But it's just that will came from deep within me to walk.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that in every respect. In our relationship with him, in this going deeper, in separating from the world. I think we bring a lot of worldly concepts into how we deal with the things of the Lord. And many churches are really so commercial in how they do things. But anyway, yeah.
And then, you know, for me, I'm like the balance between playing the game and or just being completely, what would you say? Well, I don't believe the capitalistic money system is God's kingdom at all, period. I just don't believe it. However, if I have a negative view of it, that's an energy spent and placed upon that, which is probably going to make it much more unlikely that that money is going to come to me to do some of the things that I'd like to do. So finding that balance of being in the game but not of the game is important, I think. And until things are such that we can actually change the game, I think we have to somehow figure out how to play the game. And anyway, but deconstructing from the world is a key thing, at least to be aware that this is not kingdom, and to stop being of it, you know, and just understand we can be in it and really not of it. So yeah,
he will guide us, Gil.
Yeah.
We just come to him with a desire, and he will show us every step of the way, and
Amen.
he can remove and separate.
Amen.
And that to me is probably my 2023 big discovery, Martha, is that I just take whatever issue to the Lord, and he works it in me. I can't, if I do it of myself, it works, it's flesh. It can't stay. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Marilee. John, go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting you should talk about that, because it was a week and a half ago, I listened to a teaching by Nancy Cohen, and I copied down the prayer. It's a disentanglement prayer, disentangling yourself from the socioeconomical system, disentangling yourself from gender, from all different kinds of things that get us messed up, and entangling yourself with the DNA of God and so forth.
Yeah.
So I've been praying that prayer and letting God do what he wants to do.
Amen.
We have to break those covenants that we made with the world system. Because as you say, we're in the world, but we shouldn't be entangled with the world system to such a degree that it consumes our time and energy.
Yeah. And that's what I
And
feel
keeps
like
us from getting to the place of coming to a place where we can be quiet, so quiet before the Lord, so that he can really speak deep. It's such a temptation to just turn on the YouTube and listen to somebody else preaching, and
Exactly.
which I do a lot of.
Well, you know what I did on the first, I rebuilt the sanctuary. I don't know if some of you remember how I had a tentive meeting in Colorado where I'd go out and sit there each morning, watch the sunrise, and just had a lot of tremendous downloads during that time. Well, since I've been here in Texas, I've not really had that. And anyway, so I spent a day on the first, Monday the 1st, I spent that day building my sanctuary, which basically meant enclosing space with 3 walls open to the east so I can sit there and watch the sunrise, and it keeps the wind off me. I can handle just about any amount of cold as long as there's no wind. The wind is a deal killer for me. So anyway, I built
Wind
that,
chill.
and I've been able to, in fact, I've been out there each morning since, and it's been absolutely wonderful just listening and journaling. And like I said, I got into a pretty good argument with God this morning, and he kicked my butt and showed me how foolish I was being. And it was good. I really needed it. It was good. So yeah. But yeah, disentangling. That's we all still have, those areas where we're still connected, and we kind of make these incremental climbs out of those connections, but there's always a lot more, unfortunately. But that is part of our character building on this planet.
It really comes down to what a lot of people are talking about, is becoming love.
Yeah.
That we can love all the creatures that God created the way He does, no matter where they're at or what they're doing. That's the only way we're going to bring change to the fallen creatures, is by extending the frequency of love and forgiveness and wholeness to them.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to restore things that we don't love. Thankfully, God loves all things. Doesn't love the evil, but the things He's created, He obviously loves them. And if we don't love them, how are we going to be able to participate in helping to restore them?
I heard somebody once say that if you don't love somebody, you have no authority in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I'm back to the point, or I have been here for probably a year or two, where do I kill a few bugs? Yes. And unfortunately, scorpions, I don't give them the time of day. I will kill them right away. Just because we have kids around and other people around, and the last thing I want is somebody getting stung by a scorpion. So I do take care of those. But it's like even flies, rather than kill them, if I can, I'll let them out. I'll kind of guide them toward the door and let them out, rather than kill them.
Do your thing outside.
Yeah, be free.
Eat the garbage outside. I don't have that.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, anybody else have anything? Martha, Liz, Sheila, Kamal, Susan? Okay, we'll move on. Oh, go ahead. Marilee, go ahead.
No, I think Kamal does not know what we're talking about because he came in a bit later.
Yeah. Well, and we're kind of just bouncing around a little bit, just sharing whatever Father's got on your heart and what you see for 2024 and whatever else Father puts on your heart.
Okay, I like what Marilee shared about bringing this to the Lord and just letting Him do it for you. I think that's profound, and I'm going to do it. This year, I feel the Lord say that it's going to be a difficult year for many of us. So, Gil, as you were talking, I was just unpacking what the Lord was putting in my heart. That He wants to get us out of the world, and He wants to get the world out of us. So He's saying, as much as things are going to be difficult, He doesn't want us to pray, oh Lord, make this load lighter. But He wants our eyes to be fixed on Him. In other words, in every way. And that is my prayer. I want to, you know, those things that the Lord keeps telling you to do, and you start and you get halfway, you never complete them, and you start again. So this time round, I'm going to pray like Mary, Lord, do it for me. Do it in me, because I can't. Yeah.
One of the things I shared, and actually I think it was with the Inner Circle beta test group that I was sharing this, and just that what Father's bringing, I think, back into the world and to through us, you know, through all of us who are in this space, is just one simple word in English, and it's just let. L-E-T. Let go and flow, let it go, just let things happen. Because when we jump in and start trying to make things happen where we don't see Father actually doing it. Now, if you see Father doing it, he's saying do it, then you do it. That's the beauty. That's faith. That's stepping out in faith. When we see and sense that the Father's doing something and he wants us to engage with him, that's faith. But it's presumption when we're going around trying to make everything happen the way we want it to happen because we don't like it. What is that? That's control. Why do we control? We control because we have fear. Fear causes us to want to control things so that we can get rid of the fear. And so when we are into that place where we are operating in faith and we can just let things unfold, trusting Father that whatever's going on to us and around us, he has our best in mind. Now, again, you also need to be listening for what is he doing that he wants you to do, because perhaps he is also using you. In fact, I say he is always engaging with us to shift things around us where we have influence. But too often we're just trying to make things more comfortable for ourselves rather than let them unfold. And I shared an experience with the Inner Circle group where, you know, I was driving down the road and God was engaging with me in this area of just let. And it was almost like a little bit of an out of body experience where I was, you know, observing myself driving the car. And instead of trying to make things happen and push my way through traffic like I do sometimes, I was just letting things flow. And it was interesting because yes, I'm steering the car, I'm driving it responsibly, but it was more from a position of living in the moment, being in the moment, and engaging with just letting things happen. And I got so many stories just over the last 2 weeks of things that happened, which were just phenomenal in this area of just flowing, let go and flow, let go and flow with what Father's doing. So it is something we are going to be moving into in 2024. You know, I'm hoping I can get a lot of people to join this Inner Circle so we can talk about these things, because I got a feeling it's going to be at a much deeper level than, well, I've not seen it anywhere else. I don't know of anyone else who's going as deep as I'm going, and I'm going to hit on some things with all of us that are going to really challenge our status quo and cause us to hopefully be willing to let go, let go more and more and more and more.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's change. Let's go ahead.
Very good. Who else? Liz, did you finish? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. I'm really talkative today. It's been 2 weeks. I got a lot to say.
I don't know. It
Sorry.
happens. It's okay. We allow you to.
All right. Well, thank you, Liz. Anyone else? What to look for in 2024? Okay. Well, I think we got a lot to catch up on and a lot of things to go through. However, I think we still have a little bit more. Martha, where are we at with things in terms of stories and questions and all that? I think we have
Liz
Liz?
today. But you always like to start with encounter time, so are you sticking to that pattern?
I think that would be good. I do think that would be good. Yeah. But so then Liz, you're ready to give us your story, your life?
I'm supposed to get questions today.
Yeah, I like how Liz knows what we're up to.
All right.
Way to go, Liz. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's her turn for us to ask her questions if we keep the pattern that we've been doing.
Okay. All right. So questions and then are you still doing your story as well today if there's time, or are we going to save that for
Yes.
next week?
If there's time, I can do my story today.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else before we engage? Okay. Who would like to lead us? Liz, would you like to lead us in engagement?
Let's go and flow.
I love it. Love it. Speaking my language.
All right. So let's breathe in with our noses. And just enjoy the Father. Step into his name. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, they are saved. Let's just step into his name and allow him to lead, to take control. We lay all our burdens before him and trust him to carry us. Yod He Vav He, we worship you this evening. You are our loving Father.
Hmm.
You love us and you desire to fellowship with us. And so we come in response to you as we desire to fellowship with you. We desire to decrease as you increase in us. So we say, take over, take over. We surrender our all to you. Lord, even where our hands are holding on to things so tightly, we ask that you would unclasp our hands so that everything we are holding on to will just flow, and we will be at peace with you. We will be at rest, so that we can hear you, so that we can be who you created us to be. We surrender ourselves to you. We can share what we're getting and what we're seeing.
I'm seeing a sunflower. And what comes to mind is that sunflower grew from one single seed, and it has 1,000 seeds contained in it. And the only way those seeds that can produce more life have been produced is because it was just abiding.
Hmm.
It was just connected to the stem and to the roots So the thought that comes to me is just abiding in the vine.
I see the Lord teaching us how to swim. You know, the way when you're learning how to swim, there's always someone who holds your belly, and then your arms are stretched and your legs are stretched. And it's like he's saying we must learn to let go. And I think this is the biggest lesson for me. We must learn to let go and just trust him, because we cannot float unless we trust the hands that are holding us. And that is what he desires for us, even in this journey of life.
So what I'm sensing, and I keep asking the Lord, is it something I need to share? Am I hearing right? Totally not connected to what's been said so far. Keep waiting. So I keep hearing the same words, and they are, he wants us to look at the scroll of this group. Moving forward, it's like he didn't tell me anything of what or how, anything. I feel like he's asking us to take the time. It doesn't have to be right now or anything. Just however everybody feels and however everybody is led to, whenever. But I strongly, and I now I can say strongly feel that he wants us to take time to look at the scroll of this group.
That's good.
That's all I have.
As you were speaking, Hadassah, I had an image of all of us, because we are the body of this group. We are the body. We are the body of this group. That I saw one body, and the body representing this group reached in with one of its hands into the heart to pull the scroll out and began to unroll it, to begin to review it and to see what is on the scroll.
Yeah. We all have a piece.
Yeah.
Each of us have a piece. Nobody's less, nobody's more, nobody's nothing. No, we're all important, valuable, and have something to add. But we need to come together and figure it out so we can see it happen, or we can see it manifest, or whatever Father wants us to do. But it's like, don't run, don't keep going, stop and listen.
So it's interesting. The word I get is deconstruct, and it's deconstructing from the world. And the difference for me, because I teach and I feel that a better word for the religious systems is to renovate, because there are definitely things we do not want to throw out concerning our spiritual connections, but we do want to deconstruct or renovate and tear down all the things that don't serve us well in the spiritual realm. So the word for the spiritual is to renovate, but the word for the world is to deconstruct. And deconstruct means taking it all down, not just pieces and parts of it. There's nothing to be left in the world. We do not want to be of the world. We are in the world. We have this flesh spacesuit that we are all existing in order to experience this world. But we are not to be of this world. I don't know if that makes sense.
What the phrase that all the leaders in this movement, all the people are using, which I have been listening to it for a while, and I finally came to an agreement with it after, pondering about it. But what they're saying, Gil, is deconstruction and reconstruction. We need to be deconstructed from the old ways and the religion, but then we also, we need to be reconstructed with the new and learning to put it all together.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's a process. So as we realize that we are getting deconstructed, we're realizing that we're getting this new, in the biblical word will be, our mind is being renewed with the new.
Yeah.
Our mind is being renewed, but what they're saying is we're getting reconstructed in the new.
Yeah. So renovation would entail both deconstruction and reconstruction. It's just the idea of renovation is you don't tear the whole thing down. So at least for me anyway, I'm not willing to throw the foundation of Jesus Christ out. That's a foundational piece. So renovation is when you in California, you can renovate and you can tear an entire structure down and leave one wall, and it's considered a renovation, which is different permitting than if you completely wipe out an entire building and rebuild. Totally different permitting, a whole lot more expensive. But if you're just renovating, you're tearing everything down except just certain pieces that are actually foundational. And then you rebuild around those foundations. And I feel like that's the way we need to go, because too many people have deconstructed all the way to the point where they've thrown Jesus out as well. And that part, I personally don't agree with. And so I feel like the renovation is a better word that entails both the deconstruction as well as reconstruction, but around the solid foundational pieces that I believe in Christianity we have. So
there's a sense in which we also just take away everything. Not we don't, but the family does. Take away everything that does not belong to who we truly are.
Yeah.
And who we truly are perhaps have been suppressed underneath all the stuff that's been put on us from the world, our upbringing, stuff we've been through, pain, etc.
Yeah.
And just removing all of that to reveal the true being that we have been created to be.
Amen. To me, there's a difference in the renovation of what we believe versus the laying everything down in order to discover our identity. Our identity, yeah, we need to lay everything down. and then let Father show us what to pick back up. And but the belief systems that we carry with us, that's where to me the renovation happens, because I don't want to throw Jesus out, but with my identity, I want to be able to lay everything down so I can find out what the core is. What is the core of who God created me to be? Because that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that cannot be added to or taken away from. No matter what the experiences that I have, there's a core that God created that cannot be added to or taken away from. And that's what he loves. That's why he created you. You're here because he loved you. You're here because he created you to have a relationship with you. And unfortunately, the world will throw a bunch of baggage on that. And that's part of, I think 2024 is going to be deconstructing, laying it all down in order to discover who you really are, who you really are.
And just then, I'm also talking a lot tonight. Hadassah, I think it totally relates to what we've been sharing. Gil, I don't think you saw that when I spoke about the sunflower, Martha went and brought a bunch of sunflowers. She actually has.
Oh, beautiful. Are
Yeah.
those real?
Why I have these is when Ken was in the hospital, Ann Lauterbach at the Impact group talked about, I don't know, she said I should get Ken a sunflower or something like that. These were actually from the Dollarama close to the hospital. And they were in Ken's hospital room like for months. And then, of course, when he died, I brought them home and they sit on top of the TV. So when Marilee talked about sunflowers, I went and grabbed them.
So beautiful.
So just what I wanted to say to Hadassah, I think what you said about the scroll totally relates, because the sunflower thing is about abiding. And if you're abiding, the scroll will naturally unfold. And
I love that.
so as a group in our unity, as we abide together, the scroll will unfold.
Love that. And on that, Marilee, what you also said, I think applies as well, that as a body, as a being, as a group, we are a being, we are a body, which also needs to be able and willing to lay everything down in order to discover our true identity as a body.
Yeah.
And that kind of boggles my mind, because it's like, wow, each and every one of us are carrying things that we think this group is or should be. And it's all different, at least a little bit different. And so I'm like, wow, God, that seems like a major task. But I think I'm real curious now, because I also feel like it can be a very powerful and beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's part of what we need to do right now, is lay some things down that we think the group should be, or even lay things down that we think it is. And even the good stuff.
I was given some new terminology yesterday. I was talking to a friend about Ken and me, and these words just came out of my mouth and I loved them. And I thought, that fits for this group too. I said, Ken and I gave each other space and grace. And I said, oh my goodness, that rhymes. I love it. Space and grace. Right?
That is good.
Like we can do that for each other here too. Give each other space and grace.
I'm writing that one down.
Thank you, Gil.
Well, I find interesting is, at the moment, I can't think of anything that I feel like this group should be. I have had it in my heart that this group would be nothing more than love, learning to love, learning to love. Now, I'm sure I've got some other attachments in there somewhere that I'm not aware of. And so maybe as anybody else shares, if you have anything that you've, again, good or bad. So even to lay that down, Father, I believe this group is meant to be love. And lay that down, because he'll say, now pick that one back up. When it's time, he'll say, pick that one back up, and you're going to run with that. But for now, are we willing and able just to lay everything down? Everything we think this body, this group is meant to be or should be.
So I have a question. You just said learning to love. And then our messenger group, well, not a messenger, it's called Mystery of Love. Do we have a name for the group? What's the name of the group?
Mystery of Love is what we've called it. I've called it anyway. I mean, I think you can call it whatever you want, or we can change the name.
No, because we're talking, because you just said, we were the focus of this group is learning to love. So I was just reminded. So what was the name of the group again? No, we don't need to change anything. I was just pondering on the name.
That's good. Anyone else?
Well, I don't know if I was waiting maybe to say this at the end or say it now. Kamal, I don't know if you got the email I sent you after our last meeting.
Kamal in the meeting?
Yeah, he just unmuted.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Did you get my email?
You sent a mail. I think it didn't click my mind.
Anyway, what it said in the email was how much it meant to me when you asked me what I was going to be doing for Christmas. So I just sent you a thank you that you asked.
Oh, okay, yeah. I saw the message. Even right now, thank you for asking. And I have been quiet through. Yeah. I also wanted to know how you have been doing during. Yeah. But there's somehow you are dating in a way. So it's my compliments. Thank you, Mother.
Well, I'm just so incredibly thrilled that God pours his love into us and that he pours it into us for other people. Because there's just something about when God pours love through you to others, that very act of pouring love through you to others, like I've used this image many times, so some of you may have heard it before. It's like a fireplace we get to warm ourselves at as we're feeling that love that's pouring through us. Such a gift.
Martha, I just got to say this because I hear you use that analogy so often. And in the Adventist Church, their prophet, Ellen White, had a saying, and it was always used many times, but it was, she always said that Jesus was like a potbelly stove. Because everyone would gather around in order to gain the warmth. But there was always this close-knit group. Potbelly stove you have to get really close to because it's not a fire, a raging fire, but it's just this potbelly stove where you just gather around in a small group together. So anyway, it reminds me of that every time you talk about that. Well, I'm gonna just say this, but I feel like I just kind of have a sense, and please, if I'm wrong, anybody can speak up and say so. But I kind of got a sense that most everybody here that we're we're kind of on the same page that we're here to learn to love. We're going through, each and every week. We're here, we're engaging, and that to me is the key to this mystery of love group, that we are here and we choose to engage. And as we said from the beginning, we choose to engage even though we may feel like, do I have to go to another meeting today? Or, whatever the case may be, it's just we show up because we're here to press through all the times where we would have split, left, gone, and never get to see what's on the other side of that. So here we are, pressing through, and pressing into and deeper into, wow, the Father's heart, love. And I think there's going to be something really, really special and powerful that's going to come out of this group in 2024. And I think it's probably going to be, an experience that each and every one of us have personally in and through this group, that it's going to have a life-changing effect on how we love.
I like that.
I have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
Do we learn to love? Is it a learned behavior? Or do we yield into allowing love to be through us?
Yeah, I would probably
Because
lean toward the latter.
if we are in God and God is in us and He is love, then we are love too, but there are things that restrict us and constrict us from letting that love be.
And I'd be 100% with you on that, Marilee. In fact, to me, because we are sentient beings, we have been given the power to choose, because without it, there is no love. However, we have all gone astray. We've all made choices that have covered that core of love that is God in us. And so, yeah, it's an awakening. I like, we've been using that word for a long time. It's an awakening to who we really are. And it's a letting go of all the other stuff that we've allowed, either by our own choices, putting it on ourselves, or by the world putting it onto us. All those things have blocked our vision of who we truly are. And so we're all love. We are all love. And but the beauty of it is we are all individually distinct. I don't know if the word, if pieces, I don't think that's the right word, but we're all individually distinct love. God created you specifically distinct and different so He could have a relationship with you. But we are all love, and we're love in different forms, different looks, different whatever.
It's like a facet on a jewel. We each a facet that reflects different light and color from the others.
So good. Go ahead, John.
I just want to share something I experienced yesterday when I was sitting in emergency for 7.5 hours. The people there that were sitting there, just when I think about it, they were resting. I believe they were resting in love and consideration of everybody else that was waiting. Like, if somebody would leave, they'd to go to do something, somebody would say, well, what's your name? And then in case they do, we can tell them that you're stepping out. They come back. And it was such a restful place, actually. Even though it, in your mind, you're thinking, well, why are they going ahead of me? Because, well, it's triage. They have something that is more urgent than I do. So everybody seemed to relax, and like I'm sitting beside this guy, and I mean, I came at 3:15. I said, when did you come? He said 12:30. And he never got called until 7 o'clock. And he just kept saying, well, it's not fair to all the other people. They have to wait too. So no, it's not encouraging to them to make a big mess, you know, complain about it, because it is what it is. The healthcare system is broken in Canada, and there's not enough doctors and nurses to speed things up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just felt like, I mean, I think that's like, I was coughing so hard and violently that my iWatch went to emergency to call emergency.
Hmm.
So and it's funny because I said, well, did you fall? No, I didn't fall. I'm here. It's because of the violent coughing that I had. And nobody looked at me like, can't you just shut up? Like it was terrible.
Mm.
And like coughing loud, and I just was thankful that I had an N95 mask on my face. Because if I
Yeah.
really do have RSV, it could be trouble for all the people that were there. Because they were wearing the hospital masks that aren't as good as N95. And I just felt such peace
Hmm.
and such care. Like there was this lady, the doctor sent her there because she suspected a blood clot, and she'd been there most of the day. We're still sitting there waiting patiently, and she'd be joking and hoping, you know, when somebody's name was called, yay, you can go. It was like really, I believe that the frequency of love and care is being released in the earth. And I think that was really an example of that, because in the natural, you could be sitting there and fuming, but everybody seems to be relaxed, and it is what it is. And my turn will come, and if I'm sick enough, I'll wait, and I won't walk out. But my wife phoned me and said, I don't think it's good for you to sit there any longer. I'd been sitting there since 3:30 till 9:30, because I'm coming to get you. And I understood that, because I felt like, well, if I stayed beyond my normal bedtime, I would just get worse. So I came home, and she gave me the Tylenol that I needed, and I had a really good sleep, which I'm really thankful for. But, I can't talk too much, because then I start coughing, so I'll shut up.
Thank you, John. Well, Father, do you have anything else you want to download? And I'm curious if anybody feels like they have anything else for the group that we need to lay down, or are we on track? Show us, Father.
Well, I was going to share something I was feeling that in this group, God really wants us to learn about love. God is love, and He has many facets. So we each need to grow in certain areas which are not the same. And we bring in a different facet of love, like what Martha shared, space and grace. We all have something that we carry that we can share with one another, but we all have areas where we need to grow. The more we grow in love, the more we become like Him, because God is love.
So good. Thank you, Liz. Well, we haven't heard a lot from Sheila, Kamal, or Susan, so either any of you have more to share?
Yeah, thank you.
Mm.
I mean, at present I'm a bit exhausted, so I'm also striving to concentrate, but it is where I'm following. What I've experienced for us being here and learning how to love, to be with one another, and also to be true with one another is so profound. Having found myself in different gathering, church, fellowships, Ekklesias, and one very important key part is love. And when we learn to love one another, to take care of one another's heart,
Mm.
and love, when we love each other purely from deep within our hearts, there are things that the Father will read us attain and achieve in the Spirit, and a lot than even when we say, no, I am this, I'm this, I'm big, I'm anointed. Coming from that mindset. I have seen the Father take me even different Ekklesias to higher realms, dimensions, prices in heaven, and then having faith that great things are going to happen. We are progressing. The grace of God is with us. But when the test of love comes in, you find that most of us, we fail. Down to the ground, we are not able to walk forward. So I don't know either this one was mentioned here, because I'm feeling as if it have been ever mentioned here. I don't know whether it's from jail. If we have to tarry in this praise until we know love, we tarry in this praise until love, we become one, we love and know love. I think that would be the greatest tarry ever. I remember once Jules mentioning that if the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, they have been together from all eternity, and none of them have said, I am fed up with this arrangement, so right, you go like this, we go like this. They have been there, and the growing factor is love for one another. So when we learn to have love, because I have seen love in our personal lives, in marriages, in places of work, in fellowship, is the greatest test. And even promising people with great destinies, as we said, because each and every other person's destiny is great. So, but in different fronts, maybe we can say like maybe the pioneers or the forerunners. Person have been called to be a forerunner of certain precept and grace of God, but in the price of lack of love and the pure love of the Father. You see, the enemy uses that as an accusation or as a block for one to really progress. Feeling like if sometimes we take the tarry, we account for our life. The prices mostly that we have failed in life, and you feel, oh, this price. And sometimes the Lord could tell you, this price you messed up. But when you go and look at it keenly, find that we missed in the place of love. We missed in the praise of love. But everything we do in love, no matter how people could see is wrong, or even sometimes you feel condemning ourselves that is wrong, but as wrong as it is in love, there is no accusations against it. The fruit of the Spirit, when Paul listed them, he said, against such there is no law. So there is no law to govern love. There is no law over peace. There is no law against kindness, against mercy. And I believe this is where we are supposed to be. In the praise of love, there is no rule, there is no statutes, there is no, we can say maybe the law of Moses, or you are told you are taken to the courts of heaven, and the accusation is love. There is no such. I've never been in the courts of heaven. I was told you are condemned because of love. Okay, so may the Father continue helping us, and it's to me from deep within my heart, I feel this is it. This is it. Yes.
So good. Thank you, Kamal. Sheila or Susan?
Susan typed something in the chat.
Right. She says, what came to mind was not just love that consoles and comforts, but tough love too, that challenges the flesh to reach for more. And this is what comes to mind for this group. And I'm sure we'll come across some of that. We've run into it a time or two here or there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we come across some more. And I think I still want to say we're in the honeymoon stage. We haven't got to the real, the infatuation of the group, and that has all worn off, and it's just down to the raw, oh, so that's who you are. And to be able to love that. Go ahead, Marilee.
We're still polite.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Sheila.
I actually thought we got to the, oh, so this is who you are part already. I'm not feeling the honeymoon. Not feeling. Sorry.
Well, that's good.
But please explain the honeymoon part.
The honeymoon part is usually when it's the idea of two people getting together to get married, and so they get married, they have their honeymoon, and it's all usually, ideally, it's the highest point of your marriage, your relationship up to that point anyway, and then usually it tapers off, and now it's like, okay, I got you, we're married, we're in this together now. And all the kindness and all the goodness that you were putting on in order to make sure you got that person to marry you begins to dwindle and go away, and the real you comes out. And when the real you comes out, that's where sometimes in marriages there's a struggle. Ideally, there's not that struggle, and you actually you married the very person that the person winds up being. So in other words, you don't get a surprise on the other side. But unfortunately, a lot of people get a surprise on the other side of what that person's really like once they're no longer trying to win you over. So what Marilee's saying is, like, we're still in the polite stage. We're still trying to, in that phase where we're trying to win each other over. But guaranteed that if we continue together, that more and more of who we really are will come out. Now, ideally, that we're learning to love, the more and more that comes out is the more and more true love and true nature of who we are. That will be the beauty.
It's between us, not us, and I thought it was us and God, because I started getting my butt kicked last year, so I thought it was between me and God.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I get that point. We're still polite, so maybe this year will bring...
Maybe this year we'll stop being nice to each other.
But, I have an interesting, and well, it's not an analogy, it's a real life situation. The group that I'm with, as I've said before, they Bethel related. They very affiliated to some of the people have been to their school of ministry. It's their culture. And I don't know how well everybody knows Bethel, but they've got a strong thing which is called a culture of honor, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But like with any such thing, the danger is that you now gloss over things that need to be addressed and need to be brought to the light. So one of the leaders failed dismally, morally, or whatever, and we don't talk about it. It's also that thing of do not touch God's anointed. We are all God's anointed, and we're all found dismally, and everything will be brought to the light. What is hidden will be shouted from the rooftops. So, it's truth is a part of love, and it's not only walking in love; it's walking in truth.
Yeah.
And integrity and honesty and seeing things for what they are, and it's not always pretty. And that's when it's hard to love. But yeah,
So good.
I'm actually quite a stern person. So I find it very difficult to just keep this very nice, we're such beautiful Christians, we are just also gentle and kind and sweet. I find it difficult because I want to address things, because when you address them, it's like opening a wound, and it can come clean and it can heal. So, yeah.
So instead of, I'm joking, but instead of space for grace, we need space for mace in the face. Let's get to the real and raw.
Wow.
This is going to hurt, but I still love you.
Yeah, I long for candidness, as John said, yes. I long for candidness. I long for candidness in the group where I'm at, but I think I'm on the verge of separating from them because even though I approached some things very gently with some of the people, it was very offensive to them, deeply offensive.
Well,
yes.
Here's something I would appreciate. And so I'll just throw it out there. And then I want to make sure Sheila's finished sharing what she wants to share. And then we'll hit John up, and then maybe we'll get to the questions with Liz, unless Susan wants to say something. But I actually would appreciate a time and a session if people were willing. And it may show how much we don't know each other yet. But it's like, what beef do you have with me? Now, in Africa, does that translate? It's like, what do you have against me? If you were to say one thing, it's like, well, I don't like when you twitch your eyes that way, or whatever it is. I don't like when you interrupt so often, or I don't like, do it from a place of courtesy and honor, but to be candid, to be honest, not necessarily even pull any punches. I would appreciate that, but I don't know where everybody else is at. So I'm just throwing that out. We'll talk about it later. Sheila, do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Or questions?
No, I guess I just agree with everything that has been said. I would not appreciate what Gil is suggesting because I'm still scared of criticism. I would not. But I appreciate. I mean, I'm now actually more admired by you, considering you would allow yourself to go that. Good for you.
I go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just saying that the love aspect was, I think, the biggest one for me. And when Mary Lee was talking about how we struggle to do the things that we want to do because it's based off of our own works, you get to this place where you want to please God and you forget that you're doing it off of your own strength instead of His own. So it started with like a lot of things, like you want to maybe read the Bible more, you want to love people more, and you want to, do things that the Lord is pleased with, and you just don't know how to get there, and sometimes you don't want to do it. That honesty with Him is something that I appreciate. I actually thought that it would be a bit off-putting to the Lord, but as I grow deeper in my salvation, I'm starting to realize He's not fazed by anything I do, which is interesting because I'm fazed by the things I do sometimes. So, so I loved that. I started doing that earlier this year. So to hear that somebody else is also telling God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Please help me. It's very encouraging. It's very encouraging. So yeah.
Good. Thank you, Sheila. All right, John, go ahead, and then we'll probably do the 3 questions for Liz, or the questions for Liz.
Okay. You sure you want to hear this? When you came out with your book, Choice, I thought, why is Gil so obsessed with this book that he wrote? It seemed like overboard to me. It's a great book. Look, it's just a book, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll speak to those who don't understand choice, which is awesome. But I felt like you're a little bit obsessed with it because you kept choice. So that's what I was feeling back then when you came up with your book.
Yeah.
I haven't read the whole book yet, but I'm reading it slowly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No,
I wrote
I'm
in
definitely
the chat,
excited about it.
You have to remember that iron sharpens iron, and we can be candid with one another. And
yeah.
I'm
super excited
in
about
this
it.
atmosphere, in a Zoom atmosphere, it's a little harder to do that because you're not face to face.
What?
Because when you're face to face, with somebody, you read body language, you feel the frequencies more, and
definitely
so
different.
you can feel those like like,
yeah,
it's a little standoffish to me today. Why? I don't know.
yeah.
That kind of thing I haven't experienced that in a Zoom group, because everybody kind of is kind and doesn't want to say anything that would upset anybody.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. That, I think, like you and I, when we talked about Martha, she thought behind her back, and we didn't even realize she was on it. She got all upset about it. That happens in groups. And, people whisper things to each other, and how people are.
Yeah.
Can I quickly just butt in on my take?
You can butt in, yes.
Yeah. My take on the book, and how I see Gil's excitement about the book. I think Gil is excited about what understanding choice can do for people. And at heart, he is a minister, a preacher, he is a bringer of good news and clarifier. And so I think that's why he is excited. And I've been looked at askance in my group because I know who I am in Christ, and they think I'm arrogant. And it's not that. It's just that security in the family to know who you are. And people who are not read you from a fleshly standpoint and they think you're arrogant, but you're not. So, Gil, I'm speaking for you. I shouldn't, but I was just.
She's defending you, Bill.
No, I'm actually not. I'm just, that's how I see his excitement. I'm seeing it from a different perspective. So, yeah.
And that's interesting because, you know, it's just a point in case where two different people can see the same thing and interpret it differently. And it all, I would almost say that it all stems from our own programming, you know. And so one person sees it one way because they've been programmed and taught, you know, to do that, and the other sees it another way because they've been programmed and taught to do that to some degree. And so, you know, I think it's wise for us, if we can, to even analyze, so why do I see it this way, and why might, you know, John see it this way, and find, you know, what's there, dig a little deeper and find what's there, you know. And again, the book is not for everybody. There are some people who it's going to really resonate with, and there's others who won't. Obviously, it really resonated with me because I wrote it. so yeah. So do I have a bias? Absolutely. So, you know, that, and yeah, so I know it doesn't resonate with everybody. I hope, my hope is that I can get a message across to people that is in the book that I feel like, and this is just my own perspective, I feel like very few people are aware of their power of choice and what it does for them. And someone else said this, and I took it from them. It was somebody in the inner circle, and actually it's on one of the testimonies. But she said, you know, a lot of times people will say that they had no choice simply because they don't want to take responsibility for the choice they made. And that is so true. That is so true.
The other thing is, I have to look, everybody else to look at it this way. When you see something in somebody else, often it's because it's also in you. And I know it's in me. Like when I get excited about things, I'm pretty obsessed about talking about them. So I have to confess that probably that's why I picked up on it.
Yeah. And I will admit that, well, in fact, you know, what Father kicked my butt about this morning was I was getting obsessed over something last night, and I was getting angry, and I had a hard time going to sleep because I was angry and I was trying to let it go, trying to let it go, trying to let it go. And I woke up this morning and it was still going through my mind. And so I went out in my sanctuary and sat there, and literally, I mean, I wasn't using kind language. I was frustrated. I was angry at, you know, even the fact that I was having this issue. I was angry about that as well. So it's like kind of a double whammy. And then Father gets me to a point of like, you want to process this? And he went through, and it's just like so logical what he shared with me. And I, you know, I look back at it now, and it's almost hilarious because I was going to read it to you, but we'll see if we have time for that. But it's not that long, but it's just how he picked apart my own thought process, my own little box, my own little world that I created by my choices. And I measured myself by my own little box, my own little world that I created, and I didn't measure up, and I was ticked. And he's just pointed that out to me. It's like, you did this. You did this to yourself. And realizing I did this, my own choices. I set this scenario up and this paradigm up of my own belief system, and I wasn't liking it. And I was angry at him. I was angry at all the other people that were kind of involved in it. And it's like, I did it to myself. And once Father revealed that to me, it's like, those were my choices to create that scenario. And I did it out of my own programming. So many, and again, we're all programmed, and we all do this. It's just getting to the point where we can allow God to deconstruct it for us. And again, I just think it's funny now when I go back and read it. It's just the deconstruction of Father showing me the errors of my ways. And they were my ways, nobody else's. I did it to myself. And here I was angry at everybody else.
Like choices.
Yeah.
Like my wife used to say, if I said something or did something, you just ruined my day. And I'd say, you give me that much power? It's really
Yeah.
your choice.
Yeah.
It's really your choice. You're choosing to have a ruined day because what I said or did.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I said it or did it, that it ruined your day, but it's your choice to live your day out
In that,
being ruined because of something somebody else said.
yeah.
You're giving them power over you to control your life.
Yep.
So we have to be kind and nice to each other. Try not to say things that pull their buttons.
Yeah, I would love it if this
Like
group got
one
to.
person said that if can you help me take care of my buttons? Yeah, we'll just cut them off.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you'll be fine. If you don't have any buttons that to be pushed, you'll be fine.
Gil, are we kind of have enough time for Liz?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's switch over to Martha, and Martha, take lead, and let's
All
do
right.
the questions.
Ask Liz the first question.
Now, wait a minute. Did Liz do the 3 truths and a lie? Did you do those, Liz?
Not yet.
And Liz, you're the one who came up with that game in the first place.
What's the deal? Double standard here, huh?
She can do it during this coming week, but
Yeah.
nobody's going to volunteer, then we'll start assigning people for asking questions. But does anybody want to go off the bat?
Yeah, I can go first. My question to you, Liz, is what work is it that you do? And then there's a few questions in the same one. Do you enjoy the work that you do? And is it something that you've always felt God's called you to? If not, what is that? So maybe a few questions in one there, but answer whatever you want to.
Wow. I do many things. I'm in health. So I've learned in the last few years, I've learned about health products. So once I use something and I like it, I begin selling it. So that's one of the things I do. I'm also a writer. And I have very many one chapter books or one paragraph. I start and then I abandon. But I have one completed book. And another one is in the editing phase.
Yay.
So Martha, that's what I did last year. I said I have to finish this book by 31st. And at 10 p.m. on 31st, I was busy writing, concluding. The other thing is I'm involved in media. I'm in the film industry. And I do enjoy that. Yeah, and I'm also in real estate. I'm really, really struggling in this area, but I don't want to let go. Yeah.
Did you say you were involved in media in
Yes.
ministry?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll go
Wow.
next then. I got a question that goes on top of that. Tell me more about your media involvement and what you do there.
In my church, we have a media department. We have a program where we do devotionals for about 10 to 15 minutes from Monday to Friday. So I'm like the producer of that program now. And so we have other programs that are coming up. And it looks like this is expanding. And hopefully we will have a TV station someday.
Very good. Awesome.
Sheila, you want to go next?
Do you have a question in mind yet?
Okay, Marilee.
Liz, do you have siblings?
There we go. That would have been
Yes.
my question before, but
Yes, I have 3. 2 are
Okay.
older. There's my brother, my sister, then myself, and a brother.
Okay. Okay. And did you grow up in a city or in a rural environment?
In the city.
and can you say that again? How many brothers, sisters?
1 sister, 2 brothers.
Older, younger?
The boys are on the outside, the girls are in the middle. So I have an older brother and an older sister, and then myself, and then my little brother.
I like that explanation. That helps.
Hey, John, that's kind of neat. I was going to call on you next and you just unmuted.
Yeah. So Liz, what's your favorite pastime that you like doing? Your favorite activity for relaxation?
Watching movies, especially comic.
Watching movies, comic movies. So you like laughing?
Yes.
That's awesome. Because laughter is the medicine of the heart.
Yeah, I love laughter. Hadassah, yeah, and then she unmuted. Hey, I'm really doing good here. Hadassah next.
You're being prophetic, Martha.
Mhm.
So Liz, you said you've just finished a book. What's the title of the book? What is it about? And what's the next book that you're going to write? Are you writing already? So tell me about both of your books.
They're both fiction and they're short stories. So the first
Okay.
one is on some websites and some bookstore. Yeah, they're both fiction. They are about inner healing, really.
Oh, inner healing. Cool.
Yes.
Wow. Inner healing from of course, with Christ Center inner healing.
Yes.
Very nice. In English?
Yes.
Okay. Now you speak another language, right? Dialect or
Yes.
what else do you speak?
I speak, my native language is Kikuyu.
What is it again?
It's called Kikuyu,
To you? Uh-huh.
but I also speak Swahili. Swahili is our national language.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it Hakuna Matata?
Yes, Hakuna Matata is Swahili.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Will you be able to, will you translating those books into the other languages?
No.
Well, I guess everybody speaks English, right?
Yes. Swahili is not for us, or rather for most of us Kenyans, we don't read Swahili. We only speak it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But it is a written language, though, right? It's just not
It is.
used.
We learn it in school, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's even hard. I'm sure if you asked Sheila to pray in Swahili, she would disappear. True or false? Can you pray in Swahili? Oh, wow.
Mhm.
It's like her. They're very celebrated.
It's not really as fluent, but our family is good with languages, so it picked up naturally.
Sheila,
last-
ready for your question?
I have one last question, Martha. So you never been married, Liz?
No,
Okay. That's it.
Is there a significant other?
not yet.
A good question, yes. Okay. Not yet, like that. 2024, right? It's coming. Thank you, Liz.
I have another question. Which parent were you the favorite of, if, and which parent was your favorite parent?
Oh, wow. Huh. I was daddy's girl. And I'm sure when I was younger, my dad was my favorite parent. Right now, it's the other way around.
It's interesting because dads have to do with your destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I'd like to hear more.
I must find that information. It is very interesting. I don't even remember what the mother is really significant of. I just know that fathers are very significant of destiny.
Mhm.
Okay, Sheila turned her camera off, so I'll go to Kamal. Do you have a question for Liz?
No, I'm still here, but my network has already started buffing, so most of you are speaking slower and slower, but I can hear
Okay,
you.
then Sheila, quickly get your question out.
I have two questions. What's your favorite experience about living, and what was the crisis that turned you to Jesus?
I'll start with the second one. There was no crisis. It was curiosity. I gave my life to Christ when I was 12. And I
Love
really
that.
wanted to know. It felt like getting born again was crossing a certain bridge. And I really wanted to know what was behind that bridge. So when the opportunity brought itself, I took it. Though I didn't understand what it was all about, I held on. I was led to Christ by a Calvinist. You know, those ones who believe once saved, always saved. So my teacher told me that once saved, you're forever saved, and you will never be unsaved. So if anyone asks you, tell them you are born again. So I held on to that, and I got into trouble here and there because of saying I was saved. But I held on to what I was told. Aha! I hope I've answered you, Sheila.
Yeah.
Yes, you have. I love that.
The first
The
question,
second one?
that was what was my favorite experience
Mm-hmm.
in life. I love traveling. So first, the first time I took, so the tribe that I come from, we don't travel when you're going to your village. It's like 2 hours away, 2.5 hours. So really, there's nothing much to see. So the first time I took a bus, an overnight bus, and I went to a place called Bungoma, I did not sleep a wink because I was so excited. So I guess that's one of my best memories. And then the first time I ever flew.
I love that your experience is about our hometown. That's your favorite experience. I love that. I come from Bungoma.
Wow. Good to
Yeah,
know.
may I say something very quickly to you, Liz, regarding traveling? I see you. I'm thinking, should I say anything like that? I see you coming to California.
Wow.
I just see you in California. That's it. It's like, what, Lord?
You're welcome in Winnipeg too, Liz.
And I felt this joy, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna meet Liz. Yeah, I don't know, one of those good things that you get in the spirit. So I wanted to say that.
I would like to be able to say I'd see you in Texas, but I really can't because I'm only here for my kids. Otherwise, I'd be back in California or Colorado.
I hear you.
Kamau, you got a question?
Okay. Maybe for Marily, when you asked what about mothers, let me start with that. Mothers, they are good in nurturing. What you give them, they will make it multiply. They see it grow, they nurture it until it manifests. As the fathers, they release destiny. The destiny that comes from a father is nurtured by a mother. Yeah, so not time to go deeper into it, but there is the way the two works together. As the father is fathering, the mother is nurturing. So do I have a question for now? But give me a pass, moderator, the question.
Hey, Liz, my question is from something that you shared to an answer to someone else's question, and you mentioned products and sales, which to me sounds like network marketing. I've been in over 22 companies. So are you talking about like multi-level marketing or network marketing or?
Yes, I mean one.
Okay, which one are you?
Long reach.
How do you say it again?
Long reach.
Long reach.
Yes.
I don't know if I've come across that one. Tell me a bit about it.
It's pretty new. It's about 7 years old, I think. But it's a Chinese company. They have lots of products, but what I love the most is their toothpaste. Their toothpaste is fluoride free, and it works really well for people with discolored teeth. So it helps bring the coloration, and it has a way of protecting the teeth so that even if you have cavity, the cavity stops growing. Now here I am marketing, but yeah, that's why I sell those products. It's because of the toothpaste.
Yeah, something I have in common. Been in over 22 companies, and one of the ones I'm still currently in also has fluoride-free toothpaste.
Okay, but that's just one of those. I sell castor oil and I sell molasses. Molasses is a supplement. It's a byproduct of sugarcane. It's very rich in iron, magnesium, zinc. So it's good for the bones, and it's very good for the blood. Those are my main products. And then the oils. I sell castor oil, shea butter. I'm very much into this natural products.
That is really neat. Okay, I reserve the right to ask more than one question. Tell us a bit about your education.
Okay. I can't tell you a bit without telling the whole story.
But if you want to leave it for when you tell your life story, that's okay too.
I studied journalism, and I actually applied to that school because I wanted to do photojournalism, and it's because I thought photojournalists get to travel everywhere. That was the main push for that. But I thank God that as much as I was driven by traveling, he knew that journalism fitted my calling, and my personality.
Liz, I don't know how old you are. Have you graduated high school yet?
Yes, I have graduated high school. I have graduated college, and I have worked for many years.
Many years. That's a
Yes.
relative term.
I think he's trying to find out how old you are. And I'm pretty sure Liz has told us that before.
She has? Martha, you said she has told us?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just guessing, but
Okay. I don't recall.
How old am I, Martha?
what's that?
How old am I?
That's a good.
28.
No, I think she's older than that.
I want to be 28 though. 28 until Jesus comes back for me. I'm 43.
You're 43? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Would not have guessed that.
Thank God.
Well,
Kamal did ask a
feel
question,
like
didn't he?
I knew in that vicinity, so I feel like she must have said something before. Otherwise, because I've never been good at guessing people's ages, so I just feel like she has at some point. Because I mean, think about it, people. We've been together since November 3rd, 2022.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. And you know, just I'll throw this out there, see how many of you get it. But you know, I just turned 58. Just what, about a week ago? But I'll be 60 next year.
Yeah, we get it.
Marilee, you're muted.
You turned 58 in 2023, and it's
Yes.
now 2024. So next year you'll be 60, of course.
A lot of people get confused by that when I say it.
Yeah, but you're talking to a smart group here, Gil.
Yeah, I am. It's like everybody nailed it right away.
Kamal, last chance for your question.
Can I ask another quick question? So Liz, do you
course.
live by yourself, or do you have housemates, or how does your living situation work?
I live with my folks.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
Did you say folks?
Yep.
Like parents?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Okay. One question. What makes you when you just sit down and maybe a certain personality or a trait, you see, I have this trait or personality, but really annoys you? Or which trait really annoys you? Maybe with people or with yourself. Yeah, one with people. That character and that trait, I don't love that character. So, and this thing about myself, I think this should be the thorn in my flesh, as Paul said.
This feels very strange, but I get annoyed when people talk too much. And sometimes I find myself doing that. So when I am talking, I don't realize it, but later I'm thinking, why was I going on and on? Yeah. So I'd say that's it.
I'm amazed by how many people talk too much who don't like it when others talk too much.
I think that's about everybody. There are the few like Susan and Sheila who just don't talk very much, and you have to really give them time and pull them out. But I think the rest of us, yeah, probably in that other camp.
But I
actually
think
talk
if
a
you,
Oh, Sheila, no.
I talk a lot.
yeah, so do I if I'm one-on-one with people, but not in this group. So yeah, prefer not to be stereotyped.
I get
It might be
scared that
about the time zone too.
I get scared that if I talk a lot, maybe it will bore Martha or something. So I try to
Sheila, you could
I try to keep it.
never
I'm very shy when it comes to this group. I was hoping that maybe as we grow deeper, then I'll come out of my shell because I can't stop talking. I went to went to Kamal's house for 3 days. I talked all those 3 days. All those 3 days. I couldn't stop talking.
Sheila, I'm still mad at myself when in May, somebody said they'd be here at 3 and I left the group at 3 and you talked for 15 more minutes and that person was half an hour late and I could have stayed on and listened to you. And I still think about it. And that was in May of last year.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, let go.
Don't even
Let
worry
go,
about
let
it.
go, let
Right.
go, let
Just
go.
trying to say, let go, Martha.
Yes.
Let go, it's time.
I think for us we'll also let go. Yeah. This year I'll be more intentional.
Choosing to
That's
let
it.
go.
That's your New Year's resolution?
Yes.
All right. So Martha, then next week Liz shares her story, and then we've completed the full round. Is that correct?
That's
All
correct.
right. So we'll have to decide. We can wait till next week, but we can talk about next week what we want to do.
Well, you've
from there
already said
forward.
what you want to do. You want to be on the
Well-
hot seat and have people say things they don't like about you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So you guys are going to do that for the next 6 weeks, right? Every week, it's just like Gil's on the hot seat. Let's tell him what we don't like.
that would be January 18th. So January 18th, you're going to come with something that bugs
Gilby.
out Gil because he asked for it. And we're so willing to oblige and please him and give him what he wants. And
Martha, you sound a little too eager.
no, Gil, what I'm eager is to please you. And if that's what pleases you, right?
Oh boy, I think I got myself in hot water is what I think I did.
Yeah, I mean, who was it earlier that said that we're still just polite? For those who are with me in other groups, they remember times where I haven't been so polite, just yesterday on a Zoom to someone and et cetera, et cetera. So it's just
Liz, you had your hand up though.
Yes, I was going to suggest that we wait on a bit because we still don't know each other that well. Like Sheila said, she's not yet out of the cocoon. I think it will serve us better when at least half the group is out and we are ready to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk about it next week. I don't have any agenda on that. So because if anybody else has something that they would like to do, let's throw things out on the table and talk about them and figure out where we're going to go next.
well, I think one of the things that has already come up several times is that there are quite a number of people that want a second turn in telling about their life that felt they didn't get to share enough the first time we went around. Many have said that already.
Okay. Well, we can put that out on the table as well next week.
Yep.
I do have to be off here. I got a call right at the top of the hour, so John's got his hand up.
At some point, I'd like to have a discussion about, you mentioned deconstruction, I've mentioned disentanglement. How do we go about doing that? Or is that something that the Father does? Does he deconstruct our thinking and renew our mind and change the way we think by exposing us to different understandings through other people, or
Yeah. You
That's an
gave a
interesting
short answer,
road.
John.
Interesting road that I've been on anyways, with Mike Parsons and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I said you would hate my short answer, but my short answer is that God doesn't take anything from us. That would be a violation of our choice. Now, I say
No,
that's kind of
if you give him the right to do it.
yeah.
Like
What I
Mike
see him doing
Parsons
is he
said,
exposes things.
Mike Parsons asked him, like the father asked him, well, how do you want to do this?
Yeah.
You want to do it all at once, or Mike said, no, just one at a time. I'll go crazy if you do it all at once.
Yeah. Anyway, I do need to get going. Anybody have any final things they need to
big
get out really
time.
quick? Again, Marilee?
It's been really amazing being together today. I've really enjoyed being with all of you.
I'm glad we're back.
Can you
Really
pray
looking
for
forward to
me?
this.
I said it's my bedtime.
It's your bedtime. All right, and you're frozen. So, oh, there you are. You're back.
Can you pray for me that this thing leaves me?
So, Father, we with our intent, we choose to have intent for a love so strong in John that the virus and things against his body would have no more room, that the perfect love of Christ completely eliminates sickness and disease of any and all sorts, and that each one of us right now would just put our heart and our intent of love toward John for the fullness of healing.
Amen. Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen, amen, amen. All right. Love you all. We'll see you
Love
next
you
week.
all.
Bye.
Looking forward to next
Love
week.
you.
And
Bye.
Martha put some
Love
questions
you,
in the group, so
Sheila.
don't forget to
Love you,
check those out.
Kamal. Love you, Susan. Love you all.
Bye. Love you.
All right. Love you
The
all.
faceless one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.